There are a bunch of flowers in my front yard garden thing, and uh, you'll see that in these two pictures. But the main thing I want to talk about is the symbiotic relationship going on in these flowers. Just recently, I started seeing bees because it's become spring, and I didn't think much of it until this new unit we started in biology. I realized that there's a symbiotic relationship going on here, and that relationship is mutualism. Mutualism is where two organisms benefit from each other. In this case, the bee is benefiting from the flower, and the flower is benefiting from the bee. In this stop motion clip, a bee is flying to a flower, rooting around, getting the nectar and pollen out of the flower, then leaving. And then in the loop, it technically goes to a different flower. But the bee does this for a reason. The bee is getting nectar out of the flower so that it can go make honey. It's also gathering pollen on its legs, which helps the plant. The plant provides the bee with honey, or it provides the bee with nectar, which will provide the bee later with honey. And the bee will take pollen away from the plant. The bee will then carry this pollen to another plant, and then it will spread the pollen, which will allow this new plant to reproduce. So, in this symbiotic relationship, the bee is given nectar, and the flower is able to reproduce because the bee travels back and forth. This this relationship is a symbiotic relationship because the bee and the flower both benefit from each other. In nature, this is most likely done because the bee is able to do something that the flower can't, and the flower has something that the bee doesn't have. The two work together and provide each other with different things that they both need, allowing them to have a symbiotic mutual relationship.